Hey y'all, welcome back to the cheat code. So, apparently, word on the street is that Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. I know there's been comparisons recently to Mansa Musa and whether or not, I guess, from history's standpoint, he was the wealthiest man in the world. And I guess if you do the conversions and the inflations and the time conversions, that he would have been worth about the same, if not more, which is pretty impressive regardless, because I think that was from the 1300s. But I have a little wee story time that I wanted to share where for a period of time when I was younger, I used to try to manifest before I understood before I understood manifestation, and my spirit guides have been on me for a few years to really understand the laws of the universe essentially. So the laws of the universe is what I just said. I meant to say universal laws. I've been speaking backwards a lot because it's like the weaker that I feel or the less grounded I am, it's like they're trancing through me. And for whatever reason, I don't know, when it comes to spiritual connection, they say things backwards. Um, I was even reading the other day, and I don't know how it happened, but I was reading like from the end of the sentence backwards. So go figure. Like this spiritual thing is something else. But anyways, they always have to get their little 2 cents in, their little shine. I don't know if it's, earthbound spirits that just didn't get, enough attention in their lifetime, or if they just really are deeply ingrained, embedded in my DNA at this point. I have no idea. But back to the little story time that I was going to mention. I remember before, when I didn't really understand the different ways that you can manifest, because I don't think that there's just one way, but they really wanted me to understand universal laws and study universal laws, in particular, the law of attraction. And I had so many ideas in my lifetime from, I can't even go how far back, like maybe, I don't know, junior high, or at least what I call junior high. And then I realized people call middle school, but I've always called it junior high. So that would be like grade seven, eight. And I would just come up with the most random ideas. I don't even know where they would come from. And right down till I'd say probably before I went through this period of, I don't know, awakening, ascension, attacks, whatever's going on that has me so confused, I was getting messages to write down all of my business ideas because I literally have over 500 ideas. But the way that I like to do things is I like to not necessarily overwhelm myself with it. Like there's just a lot of ideas that I have where it's like maybe it's to patent something, maybe it's to copyright something, maybe it's just to create something, get it going, and then sell it, but keep some ownership and have some passive income. But what ended up happening was that there were so many ideas that I had that actually came to fruition. And sometimes it would be as much as even 10 years after the fact. And it would just pop up. And I'd be like, how? It could be the name of something, it could be an actual like concept or an actual product, and it would just pop up. So I was just kind of disappointed in myself because I've always had so many distractions, so many challenges, and that just might be my life path. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not taking enough initiative. But back to what I was saying is that I was like, I am going to be a trillionaire. With as many ideas as I have, there's no reason why I shouldn't be. And if I literally had taken advantage of every idea that I've had as I've had them, something as simple as even a recipe, and then seeing that recipe become something popular and being sold in stores and then replicated by, like, the no name brand product brands. And it's like, I could have just been stacking money on top of money on top of money. I remember that movie Space Jam when I was younger, and it was something about, I think it was Method Man. And I remember I was talking to my older sibling, and the idea was that I kept telling her that every time I have an idea, somebody else comes out with it. And she said to me, and I will never forget it, that no idea is unique. It's just whoever comes out with it first. which I truly do start to believe because there's literally billions of people on the face of this earth. There's no way that just one person is thinking that one idea. They might think it first, but someone else is going to come up with the same idea. Um, Maybe even a different color, a different variation, but in terms of just the idea itself, I don't think it's unique. So I do believe her. So what happened was I just said, let me just think of the most ridiculous, silliest, randomest thing that I can think of. And what it was people used to roll up their shirt sleeves and like just one shirt sleeve. So like one arm out and one arm in. I'm not talking about like where you actually take your shirt half off, like if you're a little bit, hot, but just like rolling up your shirt sleeve. And I said, okay, I'm just gonna think of something random. What if you cut off the sleeve of your t-shirt and just have one arm out, one arm in? Not one arm in, but just leaving the other sleeve. And literally, I saw the video for Space Jam and I saw Method Man with his shirt cut like that. And I was like, there is no way. Like, even the most randomest thing that I could think of, just literally pulling something out my behind. And there it was. And I was like, I guess that's how it works. Another theory that I personally have had is that, and I don't know it to be true, but this is just my personal theory, is that when you actually manifest something, however that works in universal laws or however that works in just life, in space, in time, in general, I feel like a space is created. And if you don't fill that space, then someone else will. And I just find that with this lady that I was listening to, her YouTube channel goes by Rosology. She made a comment in one of the videos I was watching from her recently, where she said, when it comes to universal consciousness, that you can liken it to like a lobby, where it's like a whole bunch of people are in the lobby and you might overhear somebody's conversation. So, someone else, if you ever find that you have ideas and someone else is coming out with your idea, it can be because of us all sharing a collective consciousness. So whether it be the universe, whether it be manifestation, whether it be again the collective consciousness or just however it works, um, I think that no idea is necessarily unique. It's just really, again, who comes out with it first. So I can probably name, I don't even know off the top of my head how many things that I have come up with as ideas. But one thing that has remained a little bit reassuring is that I have been guided that regardless of how many people come up with it, it's like how many red shirts exist, how many black shirts exist, how many different types of sneakers exist. Just because there is an idea doesn't mean that you can't tweak it and make it your own. And maybe yours might be more profitable, or maybe yours might be more durable, or maybe yours might be better or do better in whatever market that you have it in. One thing that I learned studying business, but that I was unaware of, was that there's so many. Well, I noticed it first before becoming aware of it in, I guess, the business sense, but it's that there's a lot of different clubs, restaurants, just businesses, enterprises all over the world who have the same name. And the way that it's handled is basically, you can operate your business under this name in this capacity in this country. But you might go to another country. Like I know of a restaurant that has the name Shore Club. I know of a hotel that has the name Shore Club. I know of a club that has the name Shore Club, but they're all in different cities, in different countries, in different places, and they all operate again as different businesses. So, just kind of using that as an example. But I just wanted to share that little story because I thought that it was really interesting just me hearing that. And of course, that I don't think that has anything to do with his personal net worth, his liquid assets, etc. But it's kind of giving me Kylie Jenner vibes for some strange reason. There goes my intuition again, but we'll see what happens. But congratulations to him. But it just kind of it got me to thinking that if you have an idea, don't delay. work on it right away, put some ideas together, put some steps together, trademark, copyright, own your idea, own whatever, even a concept, which I had no idea that you can even own a concept. But even, try to find a way to own it and work on it. And what's that saying? It's from the Jay-Z song Streets is Watching. Um, the clean version from the line that I'm thinking of is there's money to be made, and we'll say people got the picture. And the way that I always understood that was to mean that there's there's money out there to be made. Like there's opportunities. You have ideas. There's something that you can contribute. There's something that unique that you can create. There's something that you might have a skill in, and that can be your source of income, a second source of income. Because they say that if you only have one source of income, you're technically considered poor, which is unfortunate in this day and age. But yeah, just don't delay. Just make some notes and do what you got to do. It's the cheat code. Hey y'all, if you made it this far, then this is part two, a little bonus of us looking into Elon Musk becoming the world's first trillionaire. So when I was thinking about it, because my spirit guides have been trying to get me very heavily to get involved in astrology, sacred geometry, and really just exploring spirituality as a whole, looking into other religions, cultures, things of that nature. Um, but really putting a heavy emphasis on astrology, even palmistry. I was thinking about the fact that Elon Musk became a trillionaire officially when his company went public on NASDAQ, and that I believe was on the 12th of June. So that was Friday. And the moon was in Gemini. And we are currently in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. The official retrograde starts on the 23rd of June, and that is in Cancer season. And Elon Musk is a Cancer. We're also experiencing Uranus in Gemini as well. So there's a lot of different aspects and different things that are going on astrologically that are piquing my curiosity. So I think I'm going to take a look into it a little further. I don't know if anyone has done Elon Musk's astrological chart to see if this is something that maybe has already been written, so to speak. But as I learn how to not only read the charts better, I haven't looked into his chart personally, but I'm trying to see what the energy was in terms of astrology as to how that all lined up. Because for all intents and purposes and understanding of astrology to the degree that I have, it doesn't seem like this should be happening for him at this time. So I'm curious as to looking into it a little deeper, if maybe I'm reading it wrong or if I need to look a little deeper as to how the stars were aligned for this to happen for him. In addition to that, I wanted to tell a little quick story. So this is the how I could have become a trillionaire or maybe still can story. So I'm going to try and condense it as much as possible. So several years ago, I was dealing with a lot of stress and it was creating a lot of anxiety for me, a lot of sleepless nights. And I remember just thinking I needed something to kind of calm my mind. And what I was thinking about was, however it popped into my mind, I was thinking about coloring. And I was thinking, okay, if I color, I need a coloring book. And the first place that I thought to look for a coloring book was at the bookstore. So I was looking at the bookstore and I'm like, okay, where do I find coloring books? So I'm like, okay, I have to go to the kids section. So I went to the kids section and I couldn't find any coloring books that were of interest to me because, of course, they were all, children's themed sort of things, like whether they be cartoon themed or, barnyard animals or whatever they were, I was just like, this is not quite what I was looking for. Maybe something like flowers or something along those lines, but they didn't really have anything like that. Then when I looked at the prices, when I just said, okay, let me narrow it down to like maybe one of a few books that I saw. I was looking at the prices and I was like, wow, $20 for a coloring book, that is a little too pricey for me. So I just remember walking away and thinking, okay, just leave it alone for now. Then it dawned on me and I was like, oh, I could go to the dollar store and get a coloring book. I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but I said, okay, let me go to the dollar store. When I went to the dollar store, there were slim pickings there, but there still were a few options. So I chose one of the coloring books from the dollar store. I already had pencil crayons and things like that because, I like doing creative things. So if you ever get a birthday card from me or any kind of card from me, usually there's like extra decorations on it. So I just remember coloring for a little while and then, got kind of sidetracked with that. But the point was, is I was thinking that, if I could have found a coloring book that was something that was a little bit more, my speed for my age bracket, then that would have been a little bit more, I guess, enticing for me. And it was about 3 years after that that I was up late and I saw the infomercial, and there was this lady sitting on a couch, and she was all in her little cozy, and she was coloring. And in the infomercial, they were advertising it as if you suffer from, insomnia, if you have a lot of high stress or you want to decompress after work, or if you have anxiety, you should try coloring. And I was like, my mouth just dropped. I was like, no way. So then it started showing this lady, she was just coloring, and they're showing all the different types of coloring books that they had. And of course, they were not necessarily like adult themed, meaning, inappropriate, but adult themed meaning like, there might have been butterflies or flowers or something at least along the lines of what I was looking for, not really like, again, like animals or cartoons or anything like that. And it went from that to me standing in the line at the grocery store and looking at, where they have the little magazines and stuff before you check out, and seeing in the section where you'd see like the Reader's Digest, and they had adult coloring. And again, it was marketed towards, reducing anxiety, reducing stress. And I was like, wow, if I had taken that idea and run with it and created adult coloring books for stress, which was the initial reason why I was going to buy it to begin with, that would have been a really huge investment. So, again, if you listen to my part one, I was saying it's a really good idea that when you have an idea, to patent it, trademark it, copyright it. We'll see if it exists first and foremost. But had I done that, who knows how much I would have made off of that idea. But that's one of many that, maybe one day I'll tell stories of a couple more, but there's still more that I have, but it's definitely encouraging me more, and my guides are definitely encouraging me more to take all my ideas, write them down, whatever I can patent, whatever I can trademark, get that done. There are, fees and things like that that are associated with that. So I understand that sometimes, depending on what it is, it might be a little bit pricey, but you can always like, reserve and get, different domain names and things like that. So look into what you can do, but definitely don't sleep on your own ideas. Then I'm going to leave you with that. It's the cheat code.